Today's video, I'm going to talk about the NL MVP because the AL MVP is pretty obvious this year. It's going to be Shohei Ohtani. There's no question to that. As good as Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has played this year, it doesn't matter as good as Shohei Ohtani's been. But the NL MVP race is an interesting race, just like the wild card races in the NL and the AL this year. So we're going to look at some NL MVP candidates, and eventually I'm going to give you my final MVP, who I think is going to be the MVP out of these candidates. So that's what I'm going to do in today's video. But before I get into this video, 92% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. So go ahead and get your life together and hit that subscribe button, turn notifications, and leave a like on this video. Subscribe, turn notifications, and leave a like, and let's go ahead and get into this video. So, my first player on this list is a player I feel like just does not get proper love to be as that possible NL MVP. And that's Trey Turner of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Obviously got traded in that big midseason deal that brought Scherzer and Turner to the Los Angeles Dodgers in exchange for Keibert Ruiz and Josiah Gray. But it can't be overlooked what he's doing. As good of a Dodgers team as this is, he might be the best player arguably on this Dodgers team this year. Yes, there's been some really good players, but I think that you could argue that Trey Turner's been the best player out of them all this year. Trey Turner has had a great year. 20 home runs, 56 RBIs. We know the speed with Turner. He might be the fastest guy in all of baseball. 26 stolen bases and a 322 batting average. Leads the MLB in batting average. Trey Turner has had a great year, and nobody really is talking about how good of a year Trey Turner has had when he's had a very, very good year between Washington and the Dodgers. Unlike some players like Adam Frazier and a little bit so Nelson Cruz, since they've come over to their new teams, he hasn't struggled at all. He's been very good since going to the Dodgers, and yeah. Next up, we've got 6 candidates, by the way. Next up is going to be of the Cincinnati Reds. There's going to be 2 Reds players on this list. I'm going to start off with Joey Votto. Joey Votto has had a very good year this year. A resurgence of a year for his career, because we thought last year that his contract was an awfully big contract and that he was really just done in the major leagues and wasn't going to provide a lot for the Reds, and we didn't have big expectations for him coming into the season. But Joey Votto has always been good. Yes, he's 37 years old, but still, this is a guy that's always been really, really good. And this year is nothing different. This year, he has 28 home runs, 83 RBIs, and a 269 batting average. He has had a really good year. Joey Votto has leading the Reds right now, if the season ended today, to a playoff spot. And yes, his contract's massive, and in 2022, 2023, it's probably not going to look nearly as good. But Joey Votto's always been one that just continues to hit the baseball and is one of the better first basemen in the league. I'd probably put him number 2. And he has been a really good first baseman for a very, very long time. Joey Votto is my second NL MVP candidate. Next up of the Cincinnati Reds as well is going to be Nick Castianos. Nick Castianos has had a very good year. An opt-out's going to be in the works possibly for him this offseason. So he's going to get a lot of money this offseason. And Castiano is finally going into a park where he really shines, because this guy is sort of like a JD Martinez type player. He's going to hit a ton. The fielding, it's not going to be good. You rely on him for his hitting. And if his hitting's not there at the end, Nick Castellanos is basically a useless player. But for just about every year of his career, his hitting has been on. This year, he's got 24 home runs, 72 RBIs, and a 315 batting average, 371 on-base percentage, and a 565 slugging percentage this year. He has had a really, really good year, Nick Castellanos has this year. In 2020, kind of had a little bit of a down season, especially with the average. But Nick Castellanos has had a great year, and if the Reds are in a playoff spot, then I think that he might be the guy that gets the NL MVP. Next up is one that has been getting more talk as of recently, and that's going to be Austin Reilly of the Atlanta Braves. Austin Reilly has had a very good year. Freeman's had a really good year too for this team. And now they're in first place by a decent margin, 3.5 games right now. It's better than basically any team's been most of this year. This year, he has had a monster year, 28 home runs, 80 RBIs, a 303 batting average, 376 on base percentage, and a 535 slugging percentage. He's had a great year. We saw flashes in 2019 of him being a really good player, but he's really shown it in 2021, and he continues to keep on raking for the Braves. And there was some ideas last offseason that they should get rid of Austin Riley, possibly get like a Chris Bryant. But Austin Riley has been one of the better third basemen in the league this year at only 24 years old. So he's got room to improve as well. And he is one of the better third basemen, like I said, in the league. He's definitely a candidate for the NL MVP. Next up is Fernando Tatis Jr. I feel like this is a pretty obvious one. Yes, the Padres are playing bad baseball right now. The Padres must start playing some better baseball if they want to be in the postseason. Now, luckily the Reds are kind of scuffling too, losing 3 straight, so that helps. But Tatis has been really good this year. Obviously, in way less games than anybody on this list, because he's been on the injured list 5 different times. So he's not been too reliable this year as far as being on the field every day. But he's had a monster year. 36 home runs, 81 RBIs, 24 stolen bases, 282 batting average, 364 on base percentage, and a 640 slugging percentage. He's had a really, really good year, Tatis has. And whether he has been injured 5 times, he's still, for a lot of people, would be the favorite. And yes, his fielding has went down, but he's in the outfield now. You don't have to have super great defense to be in the outfield. Like, as long as you can catch and get it in pretty quick from the outfield, you're going to be pretty decent in the outfield. And Fernando Tatis Jr. has adapted well to the outfield and has had a very good year this year for the Padres. And the Padres, if they could get into a playoff spot, then I think Tatis might win the NL MVP. And the next one is Juan Soto of the Washington Nationals. Now, he is one of the few examples as where the home run derby fixed his swing, because he was not hitting very well in the first half, didn't have a very good first half, and then the second half, after the home run derby, he really started turning it on, and now is really getting into a good season. Now, I know a lot of people are going to rule him out of this race just for the simple reason that he plays on a terrible Washington Nationals team, which is fair, sure. He does play on a terrible Washington Nationals team. But we can't take away from Juan Soto's stuff, because if we can give Mike Trout multiple MVPs and all that he gets, then Juan Soto should definitely be the same. Both of their teams suck, respectively, but neither of them are the reasons why. And like I said, if Trout can get an MVP, there's no reason why Soto can't. So in 2021 so far, 22 home runs, 71 RBIs, 298 batting average, a 442 on base percentage, and a 510 slugging percentage. He's had a really good year in 2021. And he's an underrated one that has a legitimate case to win the NL MVP. I think he does need to play a little better in the first half, though, for him to get that NL MVP. So we're going to be ruling out Juan Soto. Next guy, Joey Votto. Joey Votto has had a monster year this year. I'm going to leave him in this race. I think that, I'm not saying that he's my NL MVP, but I think that he's in that race. Castianos, I'm going to rule him out. He's had a great year, but I don't know that he wins the NL MVP. Reilly, same thing. I think that it's really between Tatis, Turner, and Votto. And I think that it's Joey Votto right now. I think that the way the Reds are playing, and they have been playing, I think that it's going to be Joey Votto that wins the NL MVP. I think that Tatis has been out for too long. Turner, I think, makes a legitimate case to possibly be that NL MVP, and he definitely could be. But yeah, I think it's going to be either one of the Reds players, Castianos or Votto, is probably going to be that NL MVP. Joey Votto's who I'm going with right now. He had a great month of. He's had some great months, and Joey Votto deserves that MVP, especially with how how good the Reds have been playing. Obviously not as good recently, but they've been playing some good baseball as of recent, and I'm going to give it to Joey Votto as of right now. Obviously, the AL MVP's wrapped up with Shohei Ohtani. So yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and turn notifications, because like I said, 92% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. So go ahead and get your life together and hit that subscribe button, turn notifications, and leave a like. Thank you for watching, and peace.